It's rolling.
So it's
rolling.
Okay. Hey guys, welcome back to Hike Oregon. Today's video is going to be my top favorite hikes from 2024. If you are new here, welcome to the Hike Oregon family. I make hiking and backpacking vlogs, as well as gear reviews and just general tips and tricks videos to help you become a more confident hiker and backpacker. If you enjoy content like that, click that red subscribe button and the notification bell so that you are notified every time I make a new video. And if you want more content from me, you can support me over on Patreon, where you will get additional content each month. All of these hikes are in Oregon, except for one. I did go to Hawaii last January and there were some awesome trails that I did there. Don't get mad at me. Just because my channel is Hike Oregon does not mean I just hike in Oregon.
Chucksney Mountain is not a very well-known hike located between Oak Ridge and Blue River. The loop is 10.1 miles long and takes you through beautiful stately forests and up to high meadows where in the summer you will be greeted by wildflowers. We went a little bit later in the season, so we didn't see any flowers this year, but we did get to enjoy a plethora of huckleberries along the trail on the way back down. Midway through the hike, there is a wonderful viewpoint where to the east you can see the Three Sisters, Broken Top, and Mount Bachelor. This was one of my favorite hikes because it is remote and it feels very wild. We didn't see anyone the entire day, even though the trail begins at a horse camp. It was completely empty in late August. Narl Ridge is located on Mount Hood near Government Camp. This 9.25-mile hike takes you from Elk Meadows through beautiful wildflower meadows and deep forests littered with huckleberry bushes up to where it connects with the Timberline Trail. My hike ended at Gnarl Ridge, which is a ridgeline created by Newton Creek, which comes from Newton Glacier. From the ridge, you not only see close-up views of Mount Hood, but also distant views of Mount Jefferson. This hike was one of my favorites because I love high alpine hikes and I got to do this one solo with my dog. The route up to Rosary Lakes is along the Pacific Crest Trail, and it takes you through a magical forest of western hemlock trees. Rosary Lakes is a series of 3 blue-green lakes located at the base of Pulpit Rock. If you go past the upper Rosary Lake, you will come to an awesome viewpoint where you can see all 3 lakes from above, as well as Odell Lake and Diamond Peak. Even though I have done this hike many times in both summer and snowshoeing it in the winter, this particular day held a lot of significance to me because it was the first time I hiked 10 miles in one stretch since my back surgery that I had in April 2024. And even though it was mid-July and I should have gotten eaten alive by mosquitoes, I only saw a single one, and everything about the birds chirping to the wind blowing was absolute magic. Byron Ledge Trail is located inside Hawaii Volcanoes National Park. This short 1.5-mile hike takes you through old lava fields and a really neat sparse forest to the edge of the volcano where you can see steam still rising from it. This hike was one of my favorites during our time on the Big Island of Hawaii because my fiance and I were the only ones on the trail and we got to watch the sun set behind the rim of the volcano. It was a really special experience. The Alpine Trail is located near West Fir and Oak Ridge and is actually a really long mountain biking trail, but I have been enjoying hiking different sections of it over the years. This section of the trail was 9 miles round trip, and it took us through some of the most amazingly lush forest, across Sourgrass Meadow, and up to Elk Camp Shelter. We only saw one group of mountain bikers the entire day and no other hikers. This was one of my favorite hikes because the trail was so beautiful, well maintained, and it had so much to offer in terms of terrain, scenery, and different kinds of plants. Tire Mountain is also located near West Fir, and this gorgeous 7.75-mile round-trip hike is best done in mid-June when the wildflowers are in full bloom. This trail takes you through lush forested areas and then passes through the most colorful wildflower meadows, some of which also have views of the Cascade Mountains. Even though I have done this hike a few times before, this was one of my favorite hikes of the year because it was done with two of my dearest friends, Randy and Aaron, and we really took our time admiring all of the flowers that we passed by. There were even a few flowers that I had never seen before that we ended up looking up the names of. I hiked the Many Lakes Trail as a loop, but it isn't technically a loop. The road leading to the Many Lakes trailhead is so rough that you would need something with at least 2.5 feet of ground clearance to be able to make it there safely. So we actually started at the Deer Lake trailhead, which is located by Little Cultus Lake, and made our way up to the Many Lakes Trail. There were a total of 7 lakes, many of which were great for swimming and had established backcountry campsites. This would be a great, easy backpacking excursion, especially for those with kids. This was one of my favorite hikes because even though it was located in Central Oregon, there were no other people on the trail and it felt very remote. The lakes were stunning and we can't wait to come back and camp here. In October, the PCTA finally opened up the trail again, starting at Pangra Pass going southbound. So even though it was smoky from the wildfires still, we decided to make the trek into Uran Lake. This is a lovely and easy section of the PCT as you hike 4.2 miles southbound, passing Midnight Lake, Arrowhead Lake, and Hidden Lake. At Lil's Lake, you take the Uran Lake Trail for 0.6 miles to Uran Lake. There are some awesome campsites here, and you will have epic views of Mount Uran and Diamond Peak, as well as a really great spot to swim. This is one of my favorite sections of the Oregon PCT, and I've hiked it many times. The hike to Duffy Lake, Mowich Lake, and up to Red Butte is a total of 12.6 miles round trip and is located near Marion Forks. Most people who hike this trail only hike to Duffy Lake, which is very beautiful, has lots of cool camp spots, and oftentimes a reflection of Duffy Butte. 0.7 miles uphill from Duffy Lake is Mowich Lake, where you can see Red Butte as well. Another 1.5 miles through an old burn scar and a bit of climbing has you arriving at the top of Red Butte, where at an awesome viewpoint to the south, you can see Mount Jefferson and Uran Lake. This was my second favorite hike of the year because we weren't actually planning on going up to Red Butte and decided to go for the adventure as we were standing at the shores of Mowich Lake. We had no idea what to expect, and the views turned out to be some of the best we had ever seen. My number one absolute favorite hike of the year was the Windy-Oldenburg Loop, located near Crescent Junction. This 14-mile loop has you passing by a total of 8 lakes, my favorite being Oldenberg Lake and Suzanne Lake. The forest that you hike through on this loop is insanely gorgeous, and there's even a spot with a view of Diamond Peak. This was my favorite hike of the year because of its remote nature. There was no one else on the trail, and just simply the feeling I got on this hike. It felt like nature was giving me a hug. This was also a milestone hike for me because it was the longest hike I did in 2024. So I felt incredibly proud of that accomplishment post back surgery.
Thank you so much for watching this video. If you have any questions about any of these hikes, please comment them down below. I'd love to hear what some of your favorite hikes were in 2024 and what hikes you're looking forward to in 2025. If you don't already, go ahead and follow me over on Instagram. That's where I post all of my amazing hiking pictures, like from places like this. And if you want to hike and backpack here in this amazing state of Oregon, check out my website, hikeoregon.net, and you'll find tons of information there, as well as have access to the hiking guidebooks that I've written over the years. There's info about backpacking, snowshoeing, and all sorts of things. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you on the next adventure.